In this vlog, we're going to be approaching the concept of sex and attempting to understand how a deeper understanding of this concept can inform our own libidinal drives and energies. The first thing we can note about the concept of sex is that, at least in a scientific sense, we have never really approached the ontology or the reality of sex in a sophisticated scientific sense. It's almost as if the notion of objectivity in a materialist sense requires a type of libidinal disinvestment. We must become passionless subjects without desire in order to make a scientific analysis. So it makes it extraordinarily difficult to think about how science may start to approach sex as a very real phenomena mediating movement in our civilization. The first thing we can start to play with when we're thinking about sex scientifically is to try to identify a clear definition. Sex is incredibly difficult to define, and this is one of the biggest problems with developing research programs and making progress with our understanding of sex. In the psychoanalytic and Freudian tradition, sex is understood as something that's mediated by a libidinal energy, a sexual energy. In the psychoanalytic hypotheses, which revolve around infantile sexuality and the development of this energy in a family or social environment, sex is a type of unitary or singular energy which can become related to in a binary structure, and also with a excessive multiplicity of orifice stimulation. And so in that sense, the psychoanalytic definition of sex is that it's kind of, yes, this singular energy which we all share, but which becomes related to in the process of socialization and growth in a binary way, depending on the position in which you relate to this energy, and can also have a polymorphous expression. So it's a very strange energy, but it does have a certain structure which we can discern. The problem with sex is that this energy which we all feel and which we all have, even if we relate to it in different positions, becomes a type of paradox or deadlock or contradiction, because there doesn't seem to be any knowledge framework that can help us absolutely to guide the development of this energy. It's such a free-flowing and life-giving and powerful and fulfilling energy, but at the same time, it doesn't fit within the world. It doesn't fit within our social organizations. It's excessive. And there's no rule book. There's no guide that one could have which would be universally applicable in that sense. So you could think of it like a Gordian knot or a contradiction, but this Gordian knot or contradiction structures our identity. It's constructive in that sense. It's disorienting and constructive simultaneously. Now, throughout history, we have developed various what you might call symbolic scaffoldings or architectures. These scaffoldings or architectures inform us as to how beings in language relate to this energy and cope with this energy, and in very pragmatic ways, but at the same time, these pragmatic scaffoldings, which are in some sense trying to become vehicles for the sexual desire, aren't perfect. They have cracks, they fail, they break apart, and they need to be changed due to historical circumstances and different conditions. But at the same time, these scaffoldings and architectures do have an inherent logic to them. not any scaffolding will work, not any architecture will work, and we don't really know the space of what works in what context, partially because history is dynamical and changes depending on, you know, the technology and depending on the cultural preferences of a community and individuals. So that gives you at least an introductory overview of the sexual concept, and in the second part we'll try to extend that and take it further, and hopefully that gives you a sense of how we might start to approach sexuality in a more scientific way, or at least an informed way. Thanks for watching.